Have you ever heard of a ghost story so powerful that it still haunts a town after a century? Tonight, we travel to Evergreen Cemetery, the final resting place of a woman known as Midnight Mary. For almost 100 years, locals have whispered her name, warning visitors to stay away. They say that every night, as the clock strikes 12, her spirit rises from the grave and wanders among the tombs. But who was the woman behind this terrifying legend? And what really happened to her before she became a restless spirit? She was Mary Hart. Very little is known about her early life. She was a mysterious figure, rarely seen and almost never photographed. Those who knew her said that strange things always seemed to happen around her. Even when she was just a child, it was as if a shadow followed her, a premonition of the darkness that would eventually consume her life. This sense of unease that surrounded Mary in life would only intensify after her death, creating the foundation for one of America's most enduring ghost stories. The true circumstances of her death are shrouded in mystery and contradiction. The official record states that Mary Hart died suddenly from a heart attack. It was a tragic but straightforward end to a quiet life. However, another, more disturbing version of the story persists. This version claims that Mary didn't die at all. Instead, she suffered from a rare medical condition that put her into a catatonic state, a deep trance that mimicked death so perfectly that doctors mistakenly pronounced her dead. According to this horrifying tale, Mary was buried alive, trapped in a coffin 6 feet under the earth, fully conscious but unable to move or scream for help. Imagine the terror of waking up in complete darkness, realizing you've been entombed with the weight of the dirt pressing down on you. It's this version of her death that fuels the legend of her restless spirit, forever trying to escape her premature grave. If you visit Evergreen Cemetery today, you'll find her grave marked by a simple but deeply unsettling tombstone. Carved into the cold granite is an ominous inscription that sends a shiver down the spine of all who read it. It says, "The dead shall be here." Many believe this wasn't just a grim phrase chosen by her family, but a curse etched into the stone by Mary herself from beyond the grave. It's a chilling declaration, a warning to the living that this ground is now her domain and that her presence will be felt for eternity. The words seem to promise that she is not at peace and that her story is far from over. This tombstone has become a focal point for the legend, drawing paranormal investigators and curious thrill seekers who want to see the infamous inscription for themselves. It wasn't long after Mary's burial that these strange occurrences began. The first reports came from cemetery watchmen and nearby residents. They started seeing a solitary figure, a woman dressed in a dark, old-fashioned dress, wandering silently through the rows of graves. She would only appear shortly after midnight, gliding between the tombstones with a sorrowful air before vanishing into the darkness as suddenly as she appeared. The descriptions were always the same. A spectral woman who seemed lost, forever searching for something. These initial sightings were dismissed as tricks of the light or overactive imaginations. But as the reports grew more frequent and consistent, the legend of Midnight Mary began to take shape. The cemetery, once a place of quiet remembrance, became a site of fear and supernatural intrigue. As the legend grew, so did the mystery surrounding her grave. A disturbing pattern began to emerge. Over the years, there have been several documented cases of people who made plans to visit Mary's tomb at midnight, either out of bravery or skepticism, and were simply never seen again. They would tell their friends or family about their intentions, venture into the cemetery as the hour approached, and then vanish without a trace. Police investigations turned up nothing. No signs of a struggle. No bodies. No clues. It was as if the cemetery itself had swallowed them whole. These disappearances added a terrifying new layer to the legend. Was Mary's spirit responsible? Did these unfortunate souls disturb her rest and pay the ultimate price? Or is there a more logical, yet undiscovered, explanation for this series of baffling vanishings? The mystery of the disappearing visitors remains one of the most frightening aspects of the Midnight Mary story. Perhaps one of the most chilling pieces of evidence connected to the legend involves a group of teenagers who decided to test the stories for themselves. Armed with an audio recorder, they went to Mary's grave late one night, hoping to capture some kind of paranormal activity. They sat in the darkness, recording the silence of the cemetery. When they played the tape back later, they were horrified by what they heard. Amidst the static and the chirping of crickets, a faint but clear female voice could be heard, whispering a desperate plea. "Do you want to leave me here?" The terrified teens reportedly turned the recording over to the police, but it was allegedly confiscated and has never been released to the public. The story of the forbidden recording only adds to the mystique. What did that voice want, and why would the authorities want to keep it hidden? It suggests that whatever haunts Evergreen Cemetery is real, and it is capable of communicating with the living. Over time, a dangerous urban legend, a kind of ritual, has developed around Mary's tomb. It's a dare that has been passed down through generations of local teens and thrill seekers. The legend says that if you are brave enough to stand before her grave precisely at the stroke of midnight and knock 3 times on the cold stone of her tomb, something will happen. You will hear 3 knocks in return, coming from inside the grave. It's said to be the sound of Mary herself knocking from the other side, begging to be let out of the coffin she was trapped in so many years ago. It's a ritual that many paranormal experts warn should never be performed. Who knows what you might awaken, or what might follow you home if you answer her call for help. Not everyone who visits Mary's grave disappears. Some return, but they are never the same again. There are numerous testimonies from people who took on the Midnight Challenge and lived to regret it. They speak of the immediate aftermath. Weeks plagued by relentless nightmares, filled with images of being buried alive and a woman's desperate screams. They report seeing dark, fleeting shadows in the corners of their eyes, a constant feeling of being watched. But the most terrifying claim is of waking up in the middle of the night to find a woman in a dark dress standing silently at the foot of their bed, her hollow eyes fixed on them. These experiences leave deep psychological scars, a permanent sense of dread that follows them long after they've left the cemetery. Their stories serve as a stark warning to anyone who thinks the legend of Midnight Mary is just a harmless ghost story. To this day, the phenomena surrounding Midnight Mary's grave remain unexplained. Skeptics have tried to debunk the stories, but the steady stream of eyewitness accounts, strange occurrences, and chilling evidence keeps the legend alive. Is Mary, Hot's spirit, truly trapped between worlds? A tragic victim of a premature burial? Or is it all a product of collective fear and folklore? A ghost story that has simply spiraled out of control over the last century. The truth remains buried in Evergreen Cemetery, waiting in the darkness for the stroke of midnight. The mystery of Midnight Mary lives on, a chilling reminder that some stories never die. If you want more real stories like this, packed with mystery and paranormal encounters, make sure you subscribe to the channel now. That way, you'll never miss a new investigation into the unknown. Thanks for watching.